gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by the 20-time champion and 2-time world champion, a legend to the Call of Duty scene, the co-host of The Flank, Mr. Patrick Price, a.k.a. Aches. And then we're also joined by another legend, another staple, another world champion, Chris Parasite. Gentlemen, how are we feeling today?
Feeling great, Tom. I am feeling great. What a day. What a
crazy day to start Major 2. Crazy day. 4 3-0s, gentlemen. 4.
Yeah, and I think two were expected. But, just, Tom, sometimes things just, what goes up must come down. That's just the world we live in. That is how gravity works. Okay. So I just love seeing things come into fruition. And, yeah, I'm excited for this Major.
Okay, well, I say we get right into it. Chris, we've been watching all day. What are your initial thoughts before we get into it? Anything?
Honestly,
just a quick day, right? 4 matches,
it was a quick day, bro. But also, like, it was a 2-3. That was all 3-0s, right?
Yep.
Hey,
the first
and
the last were both pretty big upsets, in my opinion.
Yeah, I say we get into it, man. We'll get right to it. Let's get into the first series. We got the London Royal Ravens going up against the Florida Mutineers. We're starting things off on a Gavitu hardpoint, Tuscan S&D, Gavitu control, Berlin hardpoint, and a Desert Siege S&D. Guys, any initial thoughts looking at the vetoes here?
I looked at the map set, and I was like, wow, this has London written all over it. Because, we already know Florida's map pool isn't very, big. And I think that's what made this series surprising the most, is that this looked like a clear-cut London win when you looked at the maps, and it didn't pan out that way.
Well, I don't know, Chris. I think you're right, and I think I would have said that too. Like, at surface level, these maps favor London, right? If we go strictly off win-loss and what teams are comfortable on. But something that's weird about Florida is, like, they haven't played, Gavutu all that much. Obviously they're mainly pick bow cage and all their respawns. So when we look at Florida as a team, right? We know how many ARs they have. Yes, it's one of London's good maps, but I feel like if there was a map that Florida could upset on, it would have to be Gavutu.
It was. I think it was their pick. No, in their they picked it in their last series of the league before they went to Minnesota. I think, who were they playing? I can't really remember.
Well, you got to think bow cage gets in almost every time for them for some reason.
No, you're right, but it wasn't in the last series they played, and they lost it pretty convincingly, if I remember. So I just looked at that series and I was like, wow, this is honestly chalked. Like, this is one of London's best maps. The series looks like it favors London, at least in the respawns, but clearly it didn't turn out that way at all, which is kind of surprising to me.
I thought London was going to come out and take care of business, but, Tom, Ogre too, Tom, right? He's been pretty vocal about this team. I think he's been pretty frustrated by some of the comments being made, both on the reverse sweep and probably the flank, because I feel like the opinions are pretty much the same. And he just hasn't been happy with some of the stuff he's been reading. He swears by this roster, and they're pretty confident going into this one. Yeah. I didn't expect this at all today, to be honest. I thought London was a top 3 team coming into it, and I thought they were gonna get the W here. It started off pretty back and forth to kick things off, and then once we get into the second rotation of hardpoints, it was pretty much just a chain effect from the Florida Mutineers to take this first map. They were able to chain 3 hills, right, Chris? The last 3 hills. They were able to chain the chain.
That's just the thing
insane.
About Gavutu. It happens quite often. Is it's a very back and forth game. It's a very AR heavy map. Once you get set up on a hill, it's pretty hard to break. But usually there's 2 moments where the game usually blows open. If a team manages to successfully chain, and it's it's like the, what is it, 2 and 3? 2 and 3
is a pretty big
5,
chain.
Is it? How many?
Nah, 3 and 4 can be a really big chain, Chris. Because if you hold from the front, if you hold from the front.
But mainly, it's I think 2 and 3 are like if you somehow hold both, like the other team fucked up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you hold that one and then the last one, that's pretty easy to do and chain, and it turns P1 into a money hill is the last hill and the first hill. If you can manage to chain those 2 hills at one point in the game, that's when like the lead usually flips, and that's basically what you saw out of Florida during London's game. So
well, let's tune into the listening. Let's see how both these teams are common, and then we'll take a look at the chains. Let's listen in. This is London.
Where'd you go? Get boat and then Q1. Away one shot. One guys. I still have free guys. Free tank. Just go. Leave him. No time. Right, play this hill aggressive, bro.
He's outside metal steps. Listen, Sky's still on the left. Guys, he said he make cut.
I'm cage right now.
Red tank, one shot, Skies. Red tank, so down, you jumping out cage.
Up to the top, okay? One to the cage as well, cage.
Red steps, guys.
No time. Yeah. We hear the listening there with Royal.
Pretty good listening from London. Now let's tune in to the Florida Mutineers side and see how they were common. Wherever that is. Where the heck is that? 54-34. Oh, I blew by it then. 54-34. Bada bing, bada boom. Did they? Oh, here it is.
They can go stairs, right?
Yo, what's curve on me?
I
Curve on me now. I got killed by Sun. They're curve.
Alright, I'm staying inside the ring.
They're curve.
Hey, curve push up. He's curve push up. Hey, he's curve. Outer fence good. Yeah, their ring stairs nasty, now weak. Good job. One more time. Are you by yourself?
Big plays from Afro here.
That's Mike is echoing again.
I'm going on now.
Yeah.
Nothing going.
What?
Mike was echoing. These people in chat were saying there's an echo and your mic is moving in team speak.
Front green. In the corner. Inside the ring.
I don't hear it.
Damn, these guys were absolutely twisted. But as you can see, Florida and London both with a lot of energy to kick up Major 2, right? So both teams really trying to get the dub here. And then this is kind of where it all falls apart for London. They're able to make a big play on P1. It started with Afro. He was able to pop a 2-piece after his whole team goes down, and that allows London to get into this P1 hardpoint and kind of soak down a lot of this time. But after this, it's the Florida Mutineer show. They hold most of this P2 time. They just have London kind of pummeled here. And Chris, this is kind of what we were talking about, just kind of these chains. And I always feel like it happens in the second half of the game. I feel like teams start to lose focus in the second half of the game, and whatever team makes the less mistakes is usually the team that wins.
Well, yeah, the first rotation is just super cookie cutter usually, unless somebody makes a mistake, because you spawn on sides that are clearly favorable, right? Like P1, if you spawn on the P2 side, you're just more likely to chain over towards that hill. But once once the game starts getting scrappy, like towards the second half, that's when it gets a lot more mixy. It gets to a point where people are making a lot more hyperactive plays to like flip spawns and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think once they were able to chain the P2 and P3, I think London may have messed up here. Going into this P4 here, they can't allow Florida to just waltz through the left side of the map. I mean, they can't.
Yeah.
London doesn't have any map control whatsoever. They dive ring, the guy dies cliff, and at this point, Florida just get aggressive on their kills. They make use of their kills. They push out their spawn. You can see Reese, one of the most aggressive players in the game, Vivid. He's going to block the spawns, and after this, it's pretty much a wrap. They funnel London into cliff, and that's that. First map's going to go to Florida Mutineers. Any final thoughts on the map, gentlemen?
I just think it was a good comeback. I mean, I think if anybody was watching this halfway through, they thought this was London map to lose. So just a well-composed, good comeback out of Florida. I mean, these guys have the talent. We know that. They're just not as consistent as we'd like them to be. And I think that, kind of goes back to what we were talking about with some of Ogre 2's opinions and how that argument started. But, I mean, Florida's a good team. They're just not good enough of the time. And I think that's why we kind of shift our argument into where they are in the standings. But
yeah, I don't really think anyone can disagree with that. I mean, we can only judge people on their performances in matches, and I mean, they've been pretty lackluster for the majority of the season, and even when they have gotten wins, it doesn't look clean, or it doesn't look like it's against the best teams. But I mean, they're starting off strong this major, man. If they can continue to play to the potential that we know some of their superstars and some of their slayers play, like, they could make this run.
Now we get into the Tuscan S&D. And gentlemen, I don't know what the fuck's going on today. London go up 4-0 in the S&D. I'm thinking this was going to be, a clean fucking sweep. London's going to tie it up at 1. Maybe the first map they came out a little bit slow. Let off the gas at the end. But then Florida just adapt, and he went 6 rounds straight. Where do you guys think it went wrong for London? You just think that Florida was just picking up on some of the shit they were doing?
I didn't even know this was a spot.
Yeah, Trey hit a really nice snipe off the beginning of this match.
Trey was super hot with the sniper.
The first 4 rounds.
Yeah, I think the rest of his team just wasn't playing like together there, and I think even though he was hitting his snipes towards the later rounds, I think Florida started kind of adapting to the way he was playing and kind of isolating more of his teammates and not really paying too much attention, because a lot of the rounds in the later halves, it felt like Trey was just alive by himself a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I think they just adapted to the sniper play, isolated their teammates, and then started coming back into the series.
Yeah, no, it was a good series. Pat, what did you think?
Either way, Chris, I think you're right. But either way, 6 straight rounds is just dominant. Like,
Yeah.
Even if you're adapting, like that's something. I feel like this had to have been a London lose full. I mean, to start out hot and then just get smoked 6 rounds in a row. It's either one of those maps where you kind of just feel like nothing's going right for you, or you're just losing full.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was. I didn't think that Florida had that in them to win 6 straight like that. So to see them doing this against a team like London, I mean, it's definitely a statement for me.
Right. If I remember correctly, it might have been either against them, or I swear Florida did this to a team on this map like recently. Like a couple of one of their matches in the last split, they literally did this exact same thing where they were down and they came back. If I could pull up their their maps,
about.
I think I would remember what series it was. It was either that or they came back on, but I'm pretty sure they did the exact same thing where they were down a bunch and they came back. I'm actually going to try to pull it up to see if I can find out which team they did that to.
There was one they almost did it to Thieves on Bow Cage. It wasn't Tuscan, but I think there was an example that they did it on Tuscan as well. And it was where, if correct me if I'm wrong, Dave Patty had like some 6 snipe clips in that comeback. I think that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, it might have been Bow Cage. It might have been, but like, I mean, these guys, these guys are definitely a pretty scary S&D team if you look at them on paper. Even though they might not be the best team right now, they might be inconsistent. They have a lot of S&D prowess on their team, and if they're making a lot of those comebacks on teams, like you got to tip it to whoever their shot caller is in search, because it seems like they're adapting really well and making like comebacks in like maps.
Yeah, I mean, if you can see here, they're down 4-0, and they also get left in a 3v4 to kick off this round. So let's kind of see how London was able to toss this one, because I feel like this is a round that London should win. It starts with Gizmo. He's going to get picked top church from Skies. He's going to be top fire. And then you see Reese. He's getting aggressive top church. He's going to find another one. So a 3v4 instantly going to a 3v1 in favor of Florida. So really good plays. This was pretty much the momentum switch. Once they were able to clutch up this round with London having the numbers, I mean, they just stormed through, steamrolled them through the rest of this map. Stormrolled. I'm still saying that shit.
Yeah, I made fun of you earlier for it, but I actually remember the series now and who it was. It was against the LA Gorillas on this map. I still remember that, where they won 6-5. They were actually down by like quite a few rounds, and they came back and won it.
Yeah. And then there was also the 4-3 round where Florida just had a really good retake to tie it up at 4. Let's tune in and take a look and see what they were able to do here. I just remember some of these rounds being huge clutches. You can see Afro, he's going to find one onto Big Wake. Trade's going to go down. You can see London, they get that A bomb down. And this is where this is a round that London has to close out here, man. 3v3 situation, bombs down at A, 39 seconds left on the clock. You could kind of see that London is just super separated, not really in positions where they can trade. It's going to be Vivid who finds a gap. He finds a gap through the middle. He's going to get that guy on the site. And then at this point, it pretty much comes down to this 1v1 top fire. And, I mean, he just absolutely rips Gizmo here. Skies just wins the one-on-one. And it was a really big win out of him. Just kind of predicts Gizmo in that corner. Trey's kind of left on his own. And at that point, we're all tied up at 4. I mean,
Paul X isn't losing that time. I'm just saying.
Paul X ain't losing it. Wow, you still believe this? That Paul X should be on his team?
I think, like I said, that earlier episode I said, I think, months down the line, they'll look back and wish they kept Paul X. But yeah, I think they're a better team than Paul X. That's just my opinion. Obviously.
Bro, gunfights like that, Caesar wins a lot of those.
Gizmo.
Caesar wins a lot of those. I remember I was on the flank a couple maybe a couple days ago. It was probably in the split actually, where I said Caesar's really good at like winning these like super scrappy gunfights, like where he just gets up in your face. And like I was saying this like, granted they won a lot of they won AR maps and they won their S&D. I think Caesar could be a good sub if he wanted to. I think he has the gun skill for it.
Well, Gizmo was 4 HP by the way, up top.
Was he?
He was that.
When did he get shot?
He might have got naded or something off camera or some shit, like, or maybe somebody tagged him up.
But regardless, I'm gonna give Caesar's props. I think he's a very talented player. He really
Nah,
good, really good shot.
Caesar's a beast, and I mean Trey lost around here, but these shots are fucking incredible. He quickscopes one guy rushing him, and then just completely swipes on the other guy.
Dude, imagine this was for like the round dub. Holy fuck,
that would have been
dude.
sick. That would have been sick. But then they end up again. They go up 5-4, and then they're able to close it out here. Look how quick this last round ends here. I'm just gonna play it right from the beginning. London gets steamrolled the last 6 rounds. Look at this.
Right, I'm proud of you.
Look at that. 3 dead in 5 seconds, Chris. Look at this shit.
Bro, that
They all stacked.
they just
bro,
all
I don't know
stacked.
if they thought. I don't know if they thought they were playing the old S&D where you can like hit that side of the map without getting contested, but they actually just lined up on that curve, and I was just mind blown. I was like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, that was definitely interesting. That was definitely interesting. Let's get into the last one. We got the Gav2 control. This one was a little bit interesting. What was your guys' initial thoughts on the Gav control, or just another snooze fest for you guys?
Well, I mean, we kind of know just how control's going to play, but I would think, I mean, you know, this is arguably, Tom, 2 maps now that London probably think they should have had, right? They're in their head.
Florida
really
clutched up on the offense this map, Pat. They won this map on an offense.
But I'm saying going into the series, or going into this map, I meant.
Yeah.
London's thinking like, damn, we just threw map 1. Damn, we just threw map 2, right? Like they were up 170 to 100 in the hard point.
Yeah.
4-0 in the S&D. Like they're probably losing full right now, and I think they need an immediately hot start to bring this back, and they don't really get that. So.
Yeah, I mean, we could just bring it all the way to the 2-2 round. But Chris, any initial thoughts before we kind of break down this overtime round?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. Most of the time when we watch Control, I just listen to your voice, and then you end up getting hyped for like something, and I'll turn and look because I don't have the attention span for it unless it's like the round 5.
I pretty much just I like to see how teams are thinking on their offenses, because defenses, like I feel like teams are just pretty much playing the same default, right? They for instance, if the offensive team gets the 8 point, the defensive team is just going to push up that far right side of the map, push out that ring, push out hills, kind of pin teams by cliff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just like to see how the offensive teams kind of like to break it down. And you can see That's here, it starts at Florida. They're getting kills. They're trying to work this A site. And as they're working the A site, they also get guys over to B, so just constant putting pressure there. Vivid pulling the Trey 0. Maybe stealing Trey's strat. He ends up getting 1 here, but then he falls. But even him getting on that point, you can see London, they all drag over to that B point. Vivid drags the whole team with him because they have no choice. They got to get him off of B, and that allows his teammates to kind of waltz up on A. They're able to get the cap, and then you can just kind of see how Florida was able to break on in here. Dave Patty gets a win ringside. He starts finessing his life a little bit on the rock. You could just see Florida swarming in on these spawns, bro. They're hitting the back, they're hitting the front, and they're staying super fucking aggressive. They bring this one all the way down from lives. So just a really good play. You can see the lives are 17-8. And Pat, Chris, come on, we all know with over a minute left to play, if the other team only has 7 or 8 lives, I mean, there's no way in hell that they should be losing this.
Unless they're lagging.
Unless they're lagging, right? Unless they're lagging. But I think right here they stay aggressive, and they just constantly stop that clock and drain those lives. So Florida really showing the aggression, man. Off the rip, starting off Major 2 hot with a big 3-0.
A big series out of Dave Patty too.
Just take a look at the scoreboard.
I think this was he had like a 1.3 in this series.
He was 30 and 19 to end it.
Honestly, sucks for London because we know they're obviously like a top 4 team on paper, at least how they've been performing. But big props to Florida, man. I mean, they've had a lot of doubters, including, you know, myself and a few others that have basically been saying they're not the best. And granted, they still have a lot to prove in terms of their consistency factor. Like, this is really good for the start of their major, and it puts them in a good position to make a run in this tournament because they play, Boston for top 3. I'm not going to say Boston is an easy match, but like when you think about playing Boston or Optic or FaZe, like you're obviously probably going to choose the latter. So, I mean, good stuff by them. Happy for the guys making a run. So
before we move on, I mean, like let's be honest, we criticize these guys for the right reasons. Like, yes, they are a talented team. Yes, they could cause a ton of upsets throughout this entire league. The problem is, and why they're ranked so low for everybody overall, is because they're just not consistent. This was a big upset, and it was an upset. All these maps were in London's full control, and they kind of just threw them away. So they pulled off a big upset, a 3-0. It's kind of undeniable, but I mean, at the end of the day, like this is just an upset. That's what it is. I don't think Florida is better than London. They beat them here and they upset them. So I don't know. We'll see how they kind of continue out through this major.
Yeah, we'll see how they finish in Major 2. We'll see how they do tomorrow, but let's get into the next one. We got Boston Breach going up against the Los Angeles Guerrillas. We have another Gavitu hardpoint to start things off. Berlin S&D, Tuscan Control, Tuscan hardpoint, Tuscan S&D. I mean, to be honest, every single series, all we really need to look at are the first 3 maps, you know, because nobody even made it to the 4th to 5th maps. But anything that caught your eyes during the vetoes? Either of you? Or no?
Honestly, not. Oh, actually, no. Now I think about it, granted they're playing with a sub. These are again a lot of Boston's good maps. Like they got the Berlin hard point in there. We see them do really well on Gavutu. And what was I just like fucking blinked. Literally, I didn't get to the last S&D because I don't remember it. But like just looking at it, it looked like Tuscan. A lot of their So I think that Tuscan S&D was probably the most even out of like the map sets because I know LAG likes to play it a lot. Besides that, this looked like a really good map set for Boston. If LAG had Pierce. It probably would have been a little bit better of a series. Not that Spark played bad, but like
I like Spark. He's a good player, bro. He's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Bro, that Volk he was using on the Tuscan.
We're gonna get there. A little bit,
but like, damn, like that was actually impressive. He played really well this series.
Definitely
bro,
surprised.
Can we get Spark some help?
Yeah, he was playing well. I mean, to be fair, you know these LAG guys haven't had much time with Spark. Regardless of who's playing well individually, I mean, even switching up one guy can kind of throw off the team a little bit, especially somebody like Gunless, who I feel like is probably the main guy in their comms. Would you guys agree?
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%.
We know what Gunless brings to the table, not just talent, but just communication. I mean, he's a great teammate, so I definitely think they're feeling that presence a little bit with Big P out. Not really too sure what's going on with him. Stomach ulcers, right? He was tweeting about it.
Yeah.
Stomach ulcers and stuff and that. He's just really sick. We were talking to him today. Just kind of throwing up, man. Throwing up every day. And right now he's on medication and he's resting up and trying to get his health back in order, you know? So, Big P, if you're watching, we love you, bro. I hope you get better soon,
This map was basically, you know, what we were talking about, how the first team to string together hills.
Yep, same thing.
The first team to not to like capitalize on another team's fuck up is usually the one that wins this map. And I don't know if you have it marked down, but you'll actually get to a point where Slasher was rotating towards the ring for P2. Nobody went over to help him, right? And then Boston break on in. They get onto the P2. They retain spawns and then rotate to P3. And I think that's basically where the game got blown open for Boston.
Yep.
And the game was basically over by then.
I agree. It was just more hill chains. I even have it written down. We're going to tune into that. Let's just go into the listening and see how these guys sound. We start with Boston Breach.
The ring steps, Skylar. Yeah, but check time. No, the ring steps still, Kylie. Where's he at time? Where's he at time? I don't see Sky time. Yo, the ring tank. Yeah, there's two ring. One ring tank. Nice, one's the ring tank, Kyler.
He's like, there's two
their steps. Right here. Yep.
Do their steps.
Do their steps. Ace and Kyler are both
I got this. I'll see him on
I spawned first cut.
Where's Zinni? Was he muted in this
He's
listening?
muted, yeah.
Interesting.
Ring tank.
I'll close that. I don't see ring tank. Yeah, he went.
Same thing happened in the New York series
I don't left cut.
with Neptune.
Len in the chat.
He just crossed it. They're both there. You guys can leave me hold if you want me to.
One's dead.
One more, no? I think he's arched out already.
Yeah, he's on low beach.
Low beach dead.
Nice, good.
Okay, I don't have any. One turn. I think one's already low.
I got low.
I think I shot him low.
I got low.
They left me hold, guys.
They replaced Computer 7 with Computer 2. So
I don't understand how that keeps happening, though. How the heck? Pretty good comms. I would have loved to hear Zinni because I feel like Zinni's pretty vocal on this team. So definitely would like to hear him a little bit. And, you know, we got to give Zinni his props, man. He's the top 3 AR right now. I feel like you can't deny it, man. The last, like 4 or 5 series this guy has played, I mean, he's dropping some crazy fucking numbers.
Yeah, literally the whole team. I think a lot of us agree. A lot of us were in denial with how good Breach was, you know, at the beginning of the season when they first formed, right? They end up having a good run at Major 1 and everyone's like, okay, easy bracket. They come back from Major 1, they fry in the group stages going into Major 2. I just like at this point, you can't deny it any further. It doesn't really matter if you think the roster's weird, if you think, you know, the players are new, blah 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 blah, well, whatever way you spin it, you can't deny that they're looking like a top 4 team like consistently at this point.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, like they're disgusting.
I think you're right, but I do want to say, was that Slack?
Let's go,
These
boys.
guys are lucky,
Welcome to
bro.
the
They're as
flank.
lucky as it gets.
You talking about Boston?
Yeah, with brackets, and they're playing a team that has a sub. They play Florida, who upset a team that Boston probably couldn't beat in London, as we saw in their last league match. Like, they're obviously good. I'm gonna give them their credit. I do think Zen is a top 4 AR without question, but they've gotten blessed in some brackets so far.
Well,
you know what
in
I've
order
noticed?
to win the event, they got to beat the best
What's up,
to be the best. But what's up, Josiah? What's
I was
happening?
just gonna say, I mean, I heard you guys talking about Zenny. You know, I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but it's just like it seems like he got a buff in some sort of thing. I don't know. He's just the guy is dominant, bro. He went from dropping like 1.0s to like a 1.75, and I'm just truly impressed, Tom. I don't know about you. It's I like I said, I can't put my finger on it quite yet, but he's been
I know
fine,
exactly
man.
what it is. I know exactly what it is, Jerry. Yeah, he's dating Alley Cat. You know.
Oh,
Is it official?
Is that what
I
Zenny
thought
Cat
it was
means?
official. They're going on dates and stuff. They're both posting
Okay.
food pics on their Instagram. They're posting the same fucking food.
I didn't know that.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together like that. Got it.
I did it. My chat told me that, so it could be fugazi. They like to troll sometimes.
You have told me one thing before we get off topic. Your chat's always right from what you've told me. So, anyways, we can move on. I think Zenny's been playing great.
Yeah,
to touch on that.
I wanted to break this down a little bit because this is where LAG can kind of take a lead here. This is where they should be chaining. So look at this setup right here. They have Boston pinned. There's still 20 seconds left on P2. They get all that. There's a lead change. Plus, they chain the P3. They should have Boston blendered here. But it's going to start with Austin. He's going to get naded out of ring. Definitely feel like these LAG guys need to try and rotate over. But good nades out of Boston. Next one up is going to be Asum. He's going to push ring. He's going to fall, lose the one-on-one. Another big one-on-one from TJ. And then TJ wins another one, pushing through the right side of the map. And just like that, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Kill feed is all green. And Chris, I don't know if this is what you were talking about, but this is what I wrote down.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. And then eventually Boston will hold, this time, a decent chunk of it, just stall them out
from
a little
the front.
bit.
They hold from
the front and then get the rotation. But I think where they really fucked up was that one, they were late to help Slasher, and two, once he died ring, I don't know about you, but it's not a very favorable gunfight to be charging up the ramp, which is what Asum did. Because if he loses that gunfight ring, you got to assume those guys are going to be pushing up onto that like head glitch that's overlooking that ramp and just killing you for free.
You want to see him back up all the way?
Yeah, I would have rather seen him hit like the cut where TJ is now, and then like wait and hold that cross. Like it would have been just a way more favorable position. But it is what it is. They just ended up fucking up, and that's when the game starts to get out of hand. 100%. Right here where they end up holding this rotation on top of stringing on P2. So
yep, no, it was a good play by Tony too to kind of hold that line with his teammates dying. He's gonna pop 2 mid map on his tank, and that's gonna secure the spawns for Boston. And then after that, I mean, Boston was just able to lock down all his time and take this first map. So really good plays from Boston. They come out hot. Can take a look at the scoreboard here. Look at the Boston side. Zinni's 20 and 13 again, just putting up numbers. 22 and 18 from Capsule. Good to see that from the sub player, right? On the other side, Asum struggled this map. I always think that the Gavitu Hardpoint's always going to be the toughest map for these subs. But Asum just didn't have a good map this first map.
Yeah, I agree. But, like, see, the thing I'm struggling with LAG, and yeah, they have a sub, but this has been true even when they had Pierce. When is Hugh going to step up to the plate? Like, I think he ends up going neg 15 or so in the series at like a 0.7. But when are we going to see the Kyler that we know exists? That we've seen before.
We get
in the
glimpses,
past.
right? A little bit from time to time. We'll
But
get like
not
little
on a consistent
glimpses.
level. We'll see
I
like
agree.
a map
but
or
glimpses aren't enough in this league.
guy's
If you're
a
trying to win
shooting star.
championships.
I agree with you. I definitely agree. I'm just saying I see it in him. I know the ceiling this guy can hit. I definitely think consistency is something he's gonna have to work on. And honestly, I think consistency just comes from decision making. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but I feel like it just comes down to the routes you're taking and what you're challenging and just your situationals. I feel like that's how you become more consistent.
For a player like Hook, definitely. I mean, that guy's, was notorious for having some of the best gun skill in the league as a submachine gun player for a long time. I think he just needs to find his rhythm, start making better decisions, and they need to start just playing together as a team and helping each other. Like, for example, Asum might have struggled that map, but maybe he wouldn't have dropped such, struggling numbers if they would have rotated to the right spots and held the right hills that they were supposed to, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Yeah, so we get into the Berlin S&D. This one, I think back and forth off the beginning. Boston comes out. They were able to win the first round over by that B site. It was Tony who was able to clutch up against Austin there. So really good plays out of Tony to clutch the round, defuse that bomb. Big 1v1 out of him. Then we switch over to the other side. LAG was able to win this one. You can see Boston trying to work that A site. But it was LAG. That was a capsule, bro. By the way, this guy, he be moving on Berlin, man. I don't know what. Josiah, isn't this guy always moving on this map specifically?
Yeah, no, he is. He just is like never scared to make plays. I think it's something we've talked about a lot. Tom, you and I talked about it, like how these rookies, doesn't matter what their stats are. It's like why you respect ASIM and stuff. Like they don't care. Like they'll hit gaps, they'll take risks. Like it may not always work, but they'll consistently do it. Like they just keep you on your back foot, always make you think. And I respect it. I love it.
It's annoying to play against. I mean, at the end of the day, even if you're getting shit on, your KD's bad, you're still putting pressure on the other team. It's making it harder for them. ASIM on the retake here with bomb down, he finds 3 kills. Boom, boom, boom. ASIM was able to pop 3. And they were able to get that bomb defuse, so really good plays out of ASIM. They kind of just wrapped around the back. They were able to just single out and solo out some of the Boston players. Maybe Boston might need to play a little bit tighter there, but this is kind of where Boston starts to take it away a little bit. Once it gets tied up at 1, Boston starts spreading the map and winning rounds quick. And I think it was Ian who was saying in the watch party, Boston's S&D is really, really good. Like, top of the line.
It's been a staple for them.
Yeah, it's been one of the best modes.
These guys, like, even post-plant, it looks so, like, sound. Like, it looks like they just haven't, like, a good game plan, understand what to do. Like, Ian was saying they were playing so disciplined. It's really true. Like, they don't really throw away their lives in number situations for the most part in Search and Destroy. It's honestly impressive.
Which is a little weird. I mean, Spart almost was able to clutch a 1v3 here. He was running at people. It's just weird because sometimes I feel like that's where Boston struggles in the respawn. They're disciplined. But in S&D, you don't really see it too much. I would have liked Spart to keep planning right there. Just get behind a bomb plant, like stick the bomb site, and just try and force a 1v1. But TJ makes a good heads-up play and gets out of there.
I think a lot of it has to do with just the comfortability aspect of it. Nero and Cap are probably their most inconsistent players in terms of their statistics, but they're also like some of their most important players, right? And both of them are kind of new. And Cap hasn't as much experience in S&D, or not S&D, sorry, in respawns, and I think that's probably what it is. Because like although they do love to make plays and stuff like that, in S&D they're probably just a lot more comfortable at recognizing situations and slowing down. When in respawn, especially for younger players, I feel like that's where people can almost like not turn off their go button. And I think once they work on that, they'll be a lot better.
Yeah. You can see here in the 2-1 round, Spart, he was trying to catch them on rotation. He ends up finding one. Good play out of him to kind of get pushed up early, but then maybe a little bit unlucky here. He goes to throw the tack out. He actually had a free kill on Capsule if he doesn't throw a tack there. I think he just kind of pre-pops it. And then at this point, when Slash is left in a 1v2 here, I mean, there's really not much he can do. He ends up losing the 1v1 here to Nero. And then we go into the 3-1 round where Hook, he almost made the play here. He starts off 0-4. But then he was able to find some kills. He almost clutches the 1v3 here. And it really wasn't anything too crazy. He wasn't really gunning anybody. He just kept getting behind the enemies. He just kept finding gaps, which I feel like Boston, they almost let this one slip away from them. But luckily, they were able to close this one out. Tony gets picked. Hook hits a mega long route. Goes all the way around. And then it comes down to Hook and Nero. And Nero just plays his one-on-one. He plays his 50-50 on his A-bomb site. Crowd maybe gave it away. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to bump up the sound. I want you guys to let me know if you think the crowd gave it away here.
To play with. Well, this is it. All Nero. All the time. He's not sitting. He's not sitting. He's not sitting. He's not sitting. Does he get out? He's going to get down!
What do you guys think, man?
Yeah.
Definitely a little bit of an L crowd moment, man. I feel like Nero checked and didn't think he was on it, and I don't think he was going to recheck it. But once Hook planted that bomb, he could have probably slid out, like got behind something. But just in my opinion, if you guys are in the crowd, man, do the best you can to, like, not do that shit. I know Hector has said something, Hastra has said something, but it's hard to do that, right? It's a whole crowd. How are you going to control a crowd?
Well, the problem is, too, I think it was Bryce that was casting it. Like, the way he casted it kind of just sparked a reaction out of the crowd almost, like, instinctively. You know what I mean? Like, because if you play it back and, like, listen to how he was talking about it, like, if the crowd's involved and in the game, it's really hard for them not to have that reactionary response.
Yeah,
But still, yeah, I mean, I agree. Crowds giving stuff away sucks, but that was just kind of a tough situation.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd's getting into it, right? So, I hate telling a crowd to, like, yo, don't say anything, right? Because I want the crowd to be loud. I want them to get into it. It just sucks when it comes to S&D. And, you know, you see plays like that where people are on the bomb and the crowd kind of just helps people out, you know. But
he definitely jumped off the bomb because of the crowd, though. So if any of you guys out there are basically saying, yeah, you know, it doesn't matter, like, blah, 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 like that play, for example, was literally reacted because of the crowd noise.
Yeah, LAG was able to win another round here, I believe. They were able to get 3 on the board, but Boston was just able to close this one out. Capsule makes a really good play here. He's kind of plays on an island by himself. He was the first one to entry on this 4-2 round. He was able to find one, but Boston just get blended here. They all run through P5, and Spart was picking up those pinches. So just a really good setup from them. Tony might have been able to clutch this with some ammo there. Might have been able to take down Slasher there. Good tries out of Tony, but after that, this is where Boston was just able to kick up. Play their situationals right. They were able to get the B-bomb down over here. Kind of see how they play this. This is a god setup, by the way. Once you get the B-bomb down, you got a guy in sight, you got a guy in warehouse, and then Tony sitting on the roof in the back of the spawn. You could see it's going to be Slasher going all the way around, and Tony's just sitting up here on the little rooftop. He's going to find one, jumps down, guns ace him. I mean, Tony's just feeling himself. Wins another one. Boston, they're just steamrolling through the rest of this map. Any final thoughts on the map, gentlemen, before we head into the next one?
I think,
well
I think Boston just clutched up. I mean, I didn't realize even watching it back now. It came down to LAG was in 2 1v3s, got it to 2 1v1s, and then Slasher lost that early round 1v1 to Zinni. So, I mean, I don't know. Overall, Boston just clutched up, in my opinion. They played it well.
See, Method's 10-6, double digits. Only one positive on his team. The rest of them are even or negative.
That was true in the series too, Tom. He was the only one positive. He went like plus 25. His whole team was like either 0.8s or 0.9s. So
that's crazy. This guy Tony's doing it all.
Trying.
He's doing everything. And then we get into the Tuscan control. Spart with a Volk to kick things off. He had a Volk out. What did you guys think about this? I've seen it in rank play. I've seen people use it in rank play. I have not seen anybody use it in a pro match.
Yeah, when I was still competing, I was like, oh, dude, I hate this like auto because the sprint out time is so bad. So I was bored and I was just experimenting with the Volk, and I didn't use it or anything. I'm not taking credit for it, but the one thing I noticed is that it has very, very fast like handling. Like it literally almost handles like an SMG. Its pull up time is very fast. Its strafe speed is very fast, and it shoots very fast. So in terms of like a people you like to call it a flex gun, you know, I hate that term, but it definitely can be used. I think on maps that don't have a lot of head glitches or in scenarios where you're not really fighting a person on a head glitch, I think the weapon is actually very, very strong. But besides that, it's a very clunky gun to use in terms of its like just shooting people in cover.
Yeah, honestly, the gun is hideous, bro. The gun is just hideous, man.
Wait, I like the way it looks. I think when you ABS it looks hideous, but when you hold it in your hands, it looks nice.
And then we get into the overtime round. Every team was able to lock down their Ds, and because it was Boston who ended up on the offensive side. LAG was able to scrape out more takes there. So we go into the overtime. You can see Asim starts it off with a highlight, was able to find 3. You're thinking things are looking good for LAG. But Boston, they just keep putting pressure through the front of this hill. They were able to win this series on a 3-0 on the offense. We could kind of go back and look at it and kind of how they did it, but I just feel like it's the aggression from them, man. It's just every time they get kills, they're not scared to make a play, like Josiah was saying. It's just these young guns. They're getting aggressive. They're doing what they got to do, and it's good to see, especially from young talent.
Half the series today ended a control offensive round.
Yep.
Seattle did it and Boston did it, both on Tuscan.
There you can see here, Boston, they were able to lock down the 8-point, and then we could kind of see how Boston was able to get B. We'll get into it. They stormed through church. They stormed through front. It actually starts off with Tony. He was able to find one here. Chris, we were talking about this. Maybe LAG trolling here. Who can't be pushing up by himself here? He's giving Boston a free entry. You know,
in a 4v4 you're in a 4v4 with actual 0 information.
Yeah, like this. I mean,
actually have 0 info on the map, and that allows you to push that far.
And this is where it starts.
That's where it starts, and it just gets out of hand. They end up losing.
Hook should just play a corner L wall with his teammates. They can work trades and maybe have some team shots and work some crossfires. But instead, he pushes up. He gets blooded. Tony plays his life really well. And Boston grew up and played their numbers. At this point, they're stacking a point. It's going up fast as fuck. TJ entries with a kill top green. And at that point, Boston, They force LAG out of their spots. That's what Stacks can do, man. You hop on the point, and it goes up so fast that LAG had no choice but to just run at them.
LAG is just terrible at control. They're still like they might be the only team, if not one of the only teams, who have yet to cap B on either map ever on offense. They have a 12% win rate on offensive rounds in control.
Yeah.
This team just sucks at control, point blank. Like, they literally just suck at the map.
And then you got Method's 36 and 22. I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud of this guy.
Yet it's still 3-2. Control, by the way.
He's playing well,
no,
man.
they suck at the mode. I don't know.
No, I meant like just the mode, yeah. Control, by the way. You suck at it, and you still can bring it to 3-2.
Yeah, it's easy to win defense.
And his rounds.
All right, let's get into the next one. Good plays. You can see the scoreboard here. Tony, 36 and 22. Unbelievable out of him. Definitely solidifying himself as a top AR. On the other side, Spark, 39 and 25. This guy was frying with the Volk. This guy was shitting. Ace, 33 and 31. He had a good map. Just maybe Hook with a little bit of a stinky. You know, it happens. What are you going to do about it? LAG, they get up.
You got to think that, like, if he's making plays like that, he's probably, doing that more often than not. So, like, he's just got to control himself because, like, that's just a throw, dude. Like,
they want to see the Zinni interview, all right? Zinni was looking fucking good up there. So let's tune in and see what Zinni had to say post-game. These Boston colors look like Optic to me. Let's tune in.
Yeah, I bet you're feeling good. So stage 2 qualifier, #1 overall KD, #1 S&D KD, #1 hardpoint KD, #1 control KD. You're like, something's clicking, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's more so the team. Obviously, I'm the main AR, so they're sort of running in front of me, but I haven't felt this confident individually in a long time. So just keeping the foot on the pedal, keep working, and hopefully we can take a tournament home to Boston.
I would love that, but I feel like sometimes, I mean, I forget like how long your career's been, right? Like you've been around forever because there was like a hiatus where you didn't compete for a couple of years. Like to go through that, to have your success, then the struggles, then not on a team, then I feel like you get picked up, do well, get dropped, like all over the place. To now to feel you have a home, be performing this well, it's got to feel great.
Yeah, a lot of self-belief. You go on the Call of Duty Reddit, and last year they weren't very kind, but it's just working hard, right? Just putting in the hours, and like I said, I think my teammates are the real MVPs here. I mean, the 2 rookies they came in firing. Everybody wrote Tej off. I think our team just has a chip on our shoulder, and looking forward to proving the world wrong still.
Well, I would love that. Let's talk about the team then, because I interviewed you at the last event, and you kind of talked about the positives and the negatives of having young players, right? Sometimes there's mistakes, but they'll run around like little crackheads and make plays when you need them to. Yeah. How has that developed now kind of to this point? Has it improved?
Yeah. I mean, the 2 rookies have improved. I mean, I think they're the rookies of the year, right? Not just one of them, I think both. Both of them, they're not scared to make plays. They're great search players. Not very often do you see rookies come in and play with that type of confidence. So I'm happy to have them. Obviously happy to have Tej, and yeah.
The crowd is obviously behind you. It's been very cool to see. I guess I want to hear just about the map 3. I mean, you guys are on offense, round 5, not an easy thing to do. How'd you close it out?
I'm just screaming stack the point, man. I mean, that point, they're spawning, they're throwing nades. We got a few kills. I'm screaming stack point. We pretty much just got kills from there, and sometimes it either falls in your favor or it doesn't, and this time it did. So good games, LAG. Real quick, I want to give a big shout out to Pierce Gunless. He's one of the best players I've played with and against. Obviously, we want him to get better as soon as possible so he comes back to this stage. So big shout out to Pierce.
Hey, Zen, you're a class act. I appreciate you. Good luck.
Great interview from Tony. Great interview. This fool Maven said crackheads on stage. I didn't expect that.
Yo, I know Maven's tall, but is Zen like what, 5'6"?
Zen's not tall.
That's not right.
I haven't seen him in a while.
He's pretty tall in game right now. This guy's 6'10" in game.
He's 6'12" in game right now.
And there's his girlfriend. Let's get into the next one. Guys, we got another fucking Gavitu hardpoint. Another one to kick things off. We got Atlanta FaZe going up against the New York Subliners. Gav hardpoint, Tuscan S&D, Gav control, Tuscan hardpoint, Berlin S&D. Gentlemen, initial thoughts on the vetoes. I was surprised to see FaZe playing Gavitu hardpoint first, but it didn't end up mattering. I mean, these guys took care of business, and they were doing what they had to do. But what did you guys think?
I think the best team in the game just wanted to kind of come in and shut down this streaky New York team. This team had won 6 hardpoints in a row, by the way. They were on an absolute streaker. And, yeah, I mean, Atlanta FaZe just wasn't having it. Best team in the world just wanted to come down and shut that noise down. And they did. I don't know why it had to have been on Gavitu. That was kind of an iffy pick. But I think New York had been comfortable not playing that map. So I think that's why that one got in and FaZe
Yeah, I mean, listen, this
came
one
to
got
play.
a little scary, though. Got a little scary, Pat.
It was close at a point, but then
At
like
a
I think maybe
point.
halfway through the map is when FaZe just start to
No,
pull
no,
away
no.
with
I'm
it.
not talking about the first map. I'm talking
About the
about the
series?
series in
series.
general.
Oh
Yeah.
true. You're right.
The first map was just like the first two Gavs. It was back and forth off the rip, and in the second rotation, FaZe chained 3 hills in a row. They
Yeah,
just
and it was
chained.
GG.
Yeah, it was just GG after
That's what we've been
that.
talking about all day, though, about teams being able to chain hills like that.
And when does it always happen? Always. The
Say it.
second rotation of hard points. It always happens. A team just loses their mental. They lose focus. And the good teams are going to take advantage of it. I was just telling the Stallions this. I said, Stallions, going into this weekend, because the Stallions are obviously going to be, by the way, I don't know if you guys know, but Challenges is going to be fucking insane this weekend.
Are they
Yeah.
having a stream? By the way?
Yeah, Saturday and
Saturday.
Sunday. Saturday and Sunday they're going to be streaming. I know it starts tomorrow, but Challenges is going to be fucking crazy. I'm really excited to see what the Stallions can do. I know Doug is playing, right? Censor. He's fucking there. And Censor said, hey, well, we're back on land now. Everybody's fucked. That's what Doug said.
Facts.
So we'll see what happens to Mr. Doug Censor Martin. You know what I'm talking about?
I think Doug might play the Spanish team, Rocker Academy.
Oh, shit. Real?
Oh,
think
shit.
so.
That kid's good, bro. That Real guy's
I
good
heard
as
that kid's
fuck.
next up.
Yeah. But let's tune into the listening from the New York Subliners, and let's see how these guys sound.
Yo, Doug knows Spanish, though.
Hold on.
Watch out, triple. One triple.
Play all the time.
Yo, he's bottom. He has to be bottom.
One more hold on me.
Yes. Yeah,
What's the boat?
I need close. I need close.
I'm just sitting close.
getting on top of.
Yo, lights open.
I'm looking at light. There's still a boat somewhere.
Yeah, I'm watching ramp.
One's deep bar one.
I grab ramp.
I'm pitching.
Yeah, go. One can be behind us though.
Oh, yo, green. Light tank.
Pushing up, dead. One more pushing up. RCDs.
That's one deep.
Watching
That's
set.
one deep. Oh, yo, get in there.
Nice.
Oh, God,
Outside.
I'm netting over.
One's weak on time. Weak time.
He's not challenging. I just done him. Yo, mid-boat, still dead.
I'm going light fast.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
I'm pitching right in the middle. We flip.
Yo, sell weak top ring. Weak top ring.
He's outside.
Yo, on the left as well. Easy.
Yeah,
Guys, one more.
Oh, watch out.
Nice try.
Yo,
Get boat.
Inside.
Yeah, already R1.
R1 right now.
Yeah, we have to kill him.
Tommy, I hear you groaning.
Me?
Y'all hearing shit, yo. I don't hear nobody groaning.
I didn't hear nobody groaning,
I
bro.
heard Tommy going,
Really? What the fuck? Did anybody else hear that?
No.
I can't lie. I heard that a little.
God, bro,
I heard a little.
You know what?
something,
You know
little.
what I was doing? I was stretching my back, bro. I couldn't get out of bed this morning, bro. My back is fucked, dude. I don't know what the fuck happened. I woke up today, and I went to go get up, and I couldn't do it. I said, "The fuck happened? What happened to my
Fucking
back?"
old man now, bro.
I'm an old fucking man. I said, I can't believe it. I walked into the living room. I saw my mom holding my back. I said, I can't believe it, I can't feel my back. Yeah, but what are you gonna do? It is what it is. New York, they sound like shit, huh?
Yeah,
I
those
mean-
times.
They don't
I
sound
feel
good
like
at
there was
all.
no
It's just
direction,
quiet.
dude. They were just calling out
Just
so
call-outs,
quietly
right?
where people are. There's no like, yo, let's time up nades on time. Yo, let's push this together. Let's hit this. Take a pin. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's no direction.
They
There's
might
like,
have a mental against the Tiny Terrors.
All right, guys, take it easy, okay?
Yo, by the
Everybody's
way-
got to spam sus in the chat.
New York
Regain.
is still winless at major events on land. They are
Wow.
0-2, 06 map count, not a single map point. And you know Clay's in Minnesota. He's at the blackjack table. He's probably got it up on his phone, just gambling, laughing, having a
Marking.
great time watching this.
You think
Oh,
so? You think he's having a good
yeah.
time?
Oh,
But
for
he's
sure.
got to
If I
be
know
down
Clayster-
cash, so he's got to
down
be down.
cash. He's down cash, but he's sitting at that table smirking for sure.
He's down cash, but he's up smiles for sure.
I don't know. Listen, all I know is a lot of these players are losing cash at the casino. We saw
Except
LAPs
Gizmo.
tweeting. Gizmo's up, what, 10K or some shit?
But he wasted all his luck because
Wait,
apparently,
Fat, you called
TJ's
that.
up cash too.
Actually,
apparently.
no, it was Ian who called it. Ian was like, dude, Gizmo just wasted all his luck. He's about to get smoked. You know? And you can see here, FaZe, New York wasn't able to get a point for 3 hills. FaZe was just ahead of rotation. They chained 3 hills. And there's something about this P4 too that FaZe is just, they lock this down every time. I don't know what it is about this hard point, but they do a really good job. They were able to get some streaks as well. Alec turned up. Salium was 23 and 14. Just good chains coming out of FaZe in the second half of the game. I think New York just might have lost a little bit of focus towards the end of it here. Take a look at the final scoreboard. Everybody positive on FaZe except for Abizi. You know, he's running at people, putting that pressure down. Over on the other side, I mean, everybody from New York just pretty much doing the same shit. There's not much going on over there. I think the only one positive is Hydra at 18 and 16. But he also had the least amount of damage. So, you know, what are you going to do? New York, they end up getting pummeled on the first map. And then we head into the next one, which this is one that I think New York Subliners should have took. I think they should have took this one. But who was it? The game changer, Mr. Simp, who was able to find a couple clutches towards the end of this game. What were your guys' thoughts?
Flawlessly played clutches as well. It wasn't
very
just like,
good clutches.
I mean, look, we've been waiting for the MVP to return, and I think this is going to be the event he does. Reassert himself as the best player in the game, on the best team in the game. And I mean, like, it's just stuff you can't teach, right, Tom? Like, some of these clutches,
you can't
these
teach
icy
it.
moments,
it's
you can't teach it. Yeah, that's just like, that's his bread and butter. So, you know, it was glad to see him pull some of those off, and I think that's going to be great for his confidence moving forward. But on the flip side, yeah, I mean, New York kind of threw some of these rounds, so
yeah,
they're probably mad about that.
So I'm gonna go to the 2-3 round because every single team went on offense up to this point. It was just straight offensive wins, just teams getting control of the bomb site, getting it down. Paul was left in a 1v1 here. He wins the 1. He ties it up at 3, and then this is where we see the first defense from New York Subliners here. And then after this is when the clutches came in from Simp. And we're going to take a look at the clutches because he just absolutely works the map here. He ends up getting taken down here. Really big win. I thought after New York Subliners won this round here, they played this round flawlessly. This defense, they get aggressive. They hit out mid-map. They send 3 guys mid. One's going to cut right to you. He's going to find one. That's going to be Paco. And then Neptune's going to make a play. He's going to find one mid-alley. So right off the rip, New York Subliners, they're not afraid to make a play and run at Atlanta FaZe on the defense. And that's going to secure the first defensive win on the map. They end up leaving Simp in a 1v3. They go up 4-3, and then here's where the clutches come in. I mean, we don't even need to say much. Let's just go back and tune in and see how Simp was able to do this. Right off the rip, you can see some kills go down. New York is getting control of that A-bomb site. Crimson is going to find Alex. So right here, or Alec, excuse me, is in a 1v3. Simp is going to use that grenade first. He's going to bank it off the wall. Hit the grenade. Instantly, he's going to hit the route. He knows that once he kills the guy on the site, whoever was watching field has to give it up and go towards the bomb. He gets the kill on the bomb and then dips back. I mean, this guy's just hitting routes. Ends up having a 1v1 bottom church, 1v3 in, 10 seconds.
Can you back it up?
No problem.
What was Crim doing when? So, obviously, Neptune gets naded. He's going to call out where he got naded from. But, like...
He should have called him out that he could go field, you know? He should have called out.
Why wouldn't they get together here? Like...
I don't see why...
Not even that. There's just no reason for him to be planting.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't plant either,
like,
but
Paul
why
has
not get together
mid,
at least?
Yeah, well, Paul has mid. All he has to do is watch the other side of the map and then, like, play the timing off that. Because unless he's, like, you know, playing his spawn and playing his timing, if he doesn't come towards field right away or comes out church, he's going to be either full flanking or, like, you know, doing nothing in his spawn. Like, he just ran over to the bomb, gave up the fucking side of the map, and ended up getting bad timing. But realistically, there's no reason for him to plant the bomb. You know, Simp is going to be trying to make a play to prevent it because, in my opinion, once you plant that bomb, like, it's pretty hard to clutch, like, a 1v2.
Oh, yeah. It's hard as fuck.
Because of the position. Like, you got to think Simp knows that. So he's going to be actively trying to make the play to prevent the bomb to get it planted.
Yep, so, and then we get into the 4-4 round, and I like the play from New York. They end up pushing out A. FaZe, they get a blood. So does New York. It was a 3v3. FaZe try and wrap the bomb back to B side. But instead of New York just kind of wrapping back, they push. You can see right here, they push right through this A side of the map. They get in behind FaZe, and I think it just starts with this 1v1. Paul and Alec. Paul's going to win it, make it a 3v2. Hydra's going to be pushing through the backside. He's going to find a Beezy, makes it a 3v1. They go up 5-4. I'm thinking they can close this out. Probably should have been over by now if Simp didn't clutch it up. And then again, New York, they go up 5-4. They go on the offensive side. They get super aggressive here on the B point. MC, I think he failed his movement here. Don't see that a lot from MC. He fails his slide. He ends up getting taken down off the stairs. He ended up hitting something there, and then again, Simp. He just finds a gap. And clutches the 1v2. I wonder what New York could have done here differently, or was this just a good heads-up play out of Simp? Because it's a 1v2 situation. He just finds a timing. You can see it's Paul who has to check behind him. He watches the pinch. He runs right in between them. He finds one. Good heads up play. We go into the round 11. And then in the round 11, this one was all she wrote. It was really interesting here. Abeezy went nuts. He went crazy here. So right off the rip, they get Simp out of there. He's red hot. Good grenade out of Paul X. Abeezy trades grenades. He's going to find one onto Hydra. And then after this, it was started right here. So a really good heads up play. A lot of people are like, holy shit, Abeezy's a moron. He's going rogue. But no, I think it started with Alec. He tags him up. I think Alec was able to tag him up here. You can see him shooting. He's going to tag up number 4. He's going to make him one shot. And that's where Abeezy's going to make his move. New York are forced to back up because they get tagged. And Abeezy's going to make the play off Arcity's kind of tagging him up.
So the crazy thing is if another guy was like playing tight on that angle right there, Tom, he probably kills Abeezy for free because if you watch the way Abeezy hit that corner, he didn't expect it, bro. He just sprinted over, and I was like, even when watching, we were both like, "What the fuck?"
He caught Paul with his pants down. He caught him with his pants down. There was nothing Paul could do, and I just think it was a good heads up play out of Abeezy to pick when to get aggressive. Right? He's playing slow. He gets the map control. He plays his corner, but he doesn't force anything. Once Alec tags him up and gets him one shot, then he's able to push him and make a play. And, you know, New York, because they got tagged, they ended up backing up. And then right here, Neptune, he gets laid out on the site. And just like that, FaZe, they're able to close the second map. So for me, I think New York maybe might have tossed this one away a little bit. They just allow Simp to do what he does. And you know, that's why the Simp is who he is. That's why he's a multi-fucking world champ. This guy was able to find a couple clutches. Because take a look at the final scoreboard. Everybody pretty much pulling weight from both sides. Nothing too crazy. And then we get into the last one. I'll let you guys kick it off on the Gavin through control. But go ahead,
I was
Pat.
going to let you know, attack won the first 6 rounds, and then defense won the last 5 of that map. I don't think we ever seen that. That was kind of weird.
That is weird. All offense to kick it off, all defense on the second half.
Yep. This is also the 4th 3-0 for FaZe, and now FaZe is 4-1 in 3-0s, and Subliners are now 0-4 in 3-0s. So they're getting 3-0'd a lot and not necessarily doing that to their opponents. But yeah, hopping this control. Chris, what you got for us?
I mean, it starts with an NYSL offense.
Yeah,
just to give you guys a little reminder, because we had a lot of matches today. But it starts with a New York offense off the rip. And I'm gonna be honest, Chris. I thought after they won this first offense, New York was gonna be able to close this one out, just because we know how difficult it is. But just the way FaZe was able to capitalize and win an offense back and see them kick up, you could tell they were just hitting a different form. But what did you think?
Was it the last round that was won on offense, or did FaZe get defense last round?
FaZe got defense last round.
Oh, no, I remember. Yeah, so
I called it. Remember,
New York
Chris,
went up 2-0. Yeah, I remember you calling it out. But like, I still vividly remember the last round, the round that FaZe won on their offense, where they like basically let Abeezy get that 2-piece to open it up on the side of the ring, and Paul was kind of just like, I think Paul was just having a rough map in general on this one, but they basically just let Abeezy open up the side, and then they ended up getting onto it.
And we could kind of see how New York was able to do it. So they get on the B point, wasn't really able to do much. It was Atlanta FaZe who were able to break on in. You can see both teams kind of fighting for that ring control. I feel like ring control is fucking everything. Ring, beach, just that area of the map. You definitely want to lock that down. For me, the only thing I didn't like from FaZe is I want to see more guys trying to make plays middle, make more plays left, like try and work pinches, like, try and be a nuisance. I feel like there was times where they could have took a route and they weren't really taking routes. They were just kind of playing straight up. You can see right here, New York was able to get onto that point, but because nobody's filling in mid, I mean, New York take advantage of it. They keep pushing out that mid area of the map. Even right here, there's 2 guys on a point. The stacks are in, right? There's only 1 guy left. I think number 6 or number 8 here, what do you think, Chris or Pat, should probably play mid and try and get ring. Like, go bulk, go mid. You have 2 dead.
You just have to push up.
Push.
Yeah, I think ring. I mean, we talk about it. Like, stopping the other team getting ring control is everything. Literally everything. So,
I mean, even boat though. I feel like you can even get pushed up boat and like.
They do. They have a guy pushed up under on ring right now. He just ends up losing the fight, I think.
Yeah,
but player 6 though.
Yeah, player 6. He ended up cutting back through front. He
went through the front instead of flanking through mid, which I think would have ended up getting him probably a kill, if not 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ends up pushing to the front, but they end up going down, and just like that, the New York Subliners, they were able to win the first offense. So, really good way to start the map if you're NYSL. And then I think it was New York who bounced back on a defense. They go up 2-0. They hold FaZe on this B point. FaZe just wasn't able to get in there. They do a really good job, again, just applying pressure, holding their lanes. Porter was shooting laser beams over here. MC had a really weird spot on this map. I've never seen it before. I forgot where it was, but we should probably check it out.
It's towards the end of the defense where FaZe win it, basically.
Yeah, but you can see here with 3 seconds left on the clock. 6-6 life advantage. I thought FaZe might have been able to do this, but look what New York do to break it. Look at the routes they take. You can see, look at Paco. He's going to go through mid, and he's going to flank ring. And then on top of it, he's going to have a teammate with him. It's going to be Neptune who's going to hit off the other side of the stairs, right? They hit it. They both hit it out. I just like how they hit out middle. I feel like FaZe could have done that in the first round.
Ring's the best place to break it from. I think once a team gets positioning on the actual point, it's a lot harder to get them off it than people might think, unless you actually hit good grenades.
Yeah.
Like, the best way to break it is definitely by getting Ring.
Yeah, I agree. And then FaZe, they go up on a defense. I think we should take it over to the 2-1 round and see how FaZe is able to capitalize and win an offense here. They do a really good job just stopping clock, to be honest. They just keep.
I think it was right before this, right before where you had a BZ on your screen where he basically makes the play towards Ring.
Let's see how it ended up opening up. Yeah, it was a BZ right here where he was able to just get this ring control, and I don't even know how he was able to get in there.
Yeah, Neptune, this guy ran at Neptune for free, and no one was looking at him, and then he gets the 2-piece that opens up the entire play.
Yeah, this was interesting. This is such a big kill, and then once he wins the fight Beach, he also takes out the guy top ring, and that just opens it up. Abizi makes a play. He pops a streak right away. He gets all the information. He knows where New York is, and at this point, this is where Celium just went crazy. He pushes up into the spawn. MC was able to find multiple kills back there, and meanwhile, FaZe are on the point. They're not stacking, but they're stopping clock, and they're draining those lives down.
They have him in a trap, too.
A super trap. And I was a little worried here with no stacks. I'm going to be honest. I understand, though, that on this map, stacks might be a little risky just because those nades come flying in, right? So you have to be careful with stacks on this map. But you could spread out on the point and maybe even, like, kind of play the point a little bit, get on it, get off of it, like, kind of work it. But I think FaZe did a good job. They won so many fights that it just drained the lives down from New York so quickly, and they couldn't do anything. So just like that, FaZe, they capitalized on an offense. They tied up at 2, and because they were able to get so many ticks, they end up going on to the defense on the last round, and they took care of business on the defense. I don't think FaZe is going to troll 2 defenses in one map. I just think they're not that type of team. But anything that caught your eye here in the last round other than the MC spot? Because the MC spot was godlike. I don't know exactly where the hell he was, but I'll try and find it. But what did you guys think to close out the series? Your final thoughts?
Yeah, not so much on the map, so to speak, but I mean, we did play 2 Gavs, and Paul and Krim are the ARs for this New York team, and they had a really rough series. I think Paul went neg 20, Krim like neg 10, so I think that was a difference maker, right? Like Cell was really kind of just still being Cell, which I think was a difference maker in this series overall. Was just, he's just so consistent. But yeah, I think a slow series out of Paul, and I think it's a tough series for him to match up against FaZe, but versus other teams, I don't think he'll struggle as much. As we saw online, he played really well. So yeah, just a tough series out of them that they arguably trolled.
This is the route. Before you get into it, Chris, this is the route I just wanted to highlight. I want Abizi to do this more. I want him to keep doing this. Whenever you find those gaps, whenever you have those timings, just hit through mid. He's able to come in from behind ring, take down Hydra on a point, turn around, and just kill another one. Get full ring control. It really opens it up. But go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, just something to take away from the New York side. I mean, they did look pretty good. They arguably should have won the S&D, and they started off hot in this control, and they honestly choked it. But I mean, they're playing against FaZe, and to Pat's credit here, and I'll quote, the best team in the game.
Best team in the game, baby.
So for them to play that well against Pat's quote-unquote best team in the game, I think it says a lot about the potential that this New York team has, and I'm excited to see them make a run in the losers bracket, even though, looking at it right now.
Look at that spot.
It's pretty. Oh, yeah, that spot is nuts, dude. You can see the entire ring.
That's a nice spot.
But looking at the losers bracket now, man, it's gonna be a tough ass because it's fucking stacked down there.
Who does New York play? Did you say?
No, I haven't looked at the bracket yet.
New York plays what do you call it? They play they play Thieves.
Oh shit! I can see New York beating Thieves, bro.
The lower bracket has Thieves, Ultra, Optic, London.
Oh my god!
But that's a tough one for them because like, if these play even somewhat well, I feel like they could beat New York possibly. So I don't know. Dude, there might be a world where New York ends up going 0-6, or 0-6 in map count at back-to-back majors.
There's definitely a world. I see that for sure. And
Yeah,
even
I think their roster now is a lot better, and I don't think like they would need to make any changes or anything. I think they're in a pretty solid spot. They're just maybe having some tough draws right now for a young team that definitely needs some more experience.
I don't think it'll happen. I'm just saying it's possible. But
yeah.
But before we get into this next one, Tom, I'm gonna hold on real quick. I'm gonna turn my cam off.
Oh no, dude! Pat,
what's
going on, Pat?
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna hop in.
No.
I'm gonna hop into my other room since Optic fans have been paying rent for me. I'm able to have such a lavish place.
No.
Let me hop into my other room before we get into this one. Listen.
What is that?
It's my other room.
Let's go full cam real quick. What is that?
It's my other room. What do you mean?
But what's behind you? What the fuck is that?
That's on my computers where I watched Optic get smoked today by Seattle.
Dude, you are an idiot, bro. Let's get into the series, man. Let's get into this shit. Let's get into the vetoes. Optic Texas go up against Seattle Surge, and we had an upset here today. The champions get taken down. But not only do they get taken down, they get 3-0'd. I did not predict this at all. I thought Optic was going to come out and just kind of just keep up what they were doing from the last major, from Major 1, and what they've been doing even in the league matches. They just look so good leading into it. Yeah. I personally thought Optic was the best team here, and I was really surprised.
I think everyone did, but to Seattle's credit, these are a lot of Seattle's better maps. These are a lot of the maps they like to play. They're big fans of Tuskens. They like to play Bokage. So I wasn't really surprised if Seattle was going to play well and contest Optic, let alone beat them, that it was going to be on these maps. So
well listen,
are you guys? Oh, go ahead, Pat. I was just gonna. I'm so shocked. I can't stand seeing Bokage map 1. Is that just me? I feel like if you're Optic, like last time you played Seattle, you get smoked on it, online or not. Bad maps out of Shotzi and Scump last time they played it, but I feel like if you just get rid of that map, like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
shocked they played it. In my opinion,
I think these maps, like Seattle was really happy with them. I feel like Optic could have threw a curveball and played any other map and still been comfortable in the series, and maybe made Seattle a little less comfortable, but. I think this is just the case of what happens when you get really confident, right? Like Optic's been expanding their map pool online, as we've seen in some of these matches, and they just think that they're the shit. So obviously they're traditionally a very good Bokage team, but it's not something you have to gamble against a team who also likes Bokage in Seattle. And don't get me wrong, right? I do think Seattle needs to blow it up, but we've said it since day one. Seattle has talent in which they can upset any team. The whole problem with Seattle for so long was that they relied on Sib and Pred to absolutely fry in a series to get a win. And guess what happened today? Sib and Pred absolutely fried Optic.
I disagree on the blow it up completely.
And I don't think they should blow it up either. They have nowhere else to go.
We'll see where they place. But my point is,
we'll see.
We've talked about this team, and it's the fact that they aren't consistent because of how inconsistent their slaying is. But hey, Sib and Pred fried today, and they won, which is what they rely on. So
their inconsistency in slaying Pat's not coming from their talent; it's coming from their fundamentals.
I'm just saying, as a team, as a unit together, they're inconsistent. But anyway, these maps just gave Seattle a map set that they just are very comfortable on. So I think this was a blunder out of Optic in general.
They just ego chowed them, bro.
Yeah, they ego chowed them, and Sib and Pred fried. So
I'm not a big fan.
Wait, hold on. We can't keep talking about Sib and Pred. We're not gonna talk about Mac.
Fried, yeah.
That was shitting on him. Mac was the best player in the lobby.
I don't know about the lobby, but
he's the best player in the lobby this series.
There was
it wasn't. Pred was by far the
best.
All right,
Pred was really good.
He was the second best player in the lobby. And Mac was the third best player in the lobby.
They would all play well.
You can make the argument that Mac literally won them. Was it the control at the end when he fucking made that play on the back on Shotzi?
Yeah, he made a huge play.
No, he was disgusting.
1v1s, whatever. Pred had so many influential gunfights on that map. It would be the same thing.
Regardless,
the whole team played well. The whole team.
There was an infographic released by CDO Intel, I believe, like Dot Sports, and it was basically like the player of the match and the player of each map, right? And every single one of the maps they won, there was a different MVP, like insane stats on it. They basically had a map each where their young core guaranteed the map statistically. Whether it was, I think it was Sib was in the hard
Sib
point.
and Pred had 2 1.2s together, which we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, overall.
So that's my point.
Sure.
Yeah, overall. That's what I was trying to get at, is we haven't seen that. And when that occurs, they usually find success.
Okay.
But we didn't see that enough out of them in either qualifier, and that's what led to a lot
you're
of their
right.
losses.
But regardless, well, going to your point, I don't think they should blow it up. I said this earlier. It doesn't matter if they're not playing that good, if they're playing inconsistent. At the end of the day, when you look at this team was formed off young talent, and if you're the coach, if you're the management, you're basically saying, I'm investing in these players because I need them time to develop. They're not just going to
Listen, if that's your strategy, yeah, you're not going to blow it up. But if they get 8th, let's say they get 8th this event, if you're cool with being 12th at Major 1, 8th at Major 2, going 2 and 3 in each qualifier, then yeah, don't blow it up. Invest in your talent and stay middle of the pack.
If they win, Pat, if they win tomorrow, they're top 3.
Who they play tomorrow? Let me know. They play the
idea.
best team in the world.
Yeah, but they've beaten FaZe.
Online.
Regardless,
I do think FaZe is gonna win tomorrow, though. Personally, I think FaZe is gonna.
I agree too. But if you're the management, and at least the way I would think is like, I'm investing in these guys, like Sib, Pred, Mac. You know, he's had some experience now, but Sib and Pred, for example, they are rookies. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how long they've been playing in the other scenes. You know, they're rookies. They need time to develop. They need time to find their footing. And they need to show consistency. But who else are they going to get? We've talked about this. There isn't any other options. There's no reason for them to blow it up.
Does not mean drop Sib and Pred. I don't know why you think
you're not dropping Max. So you're not dropping Mac
either. It means
either.
a roster change. It
Mac
means
has been
playing a relook at a team. Everyone when they hear blow it up, they think, oh, squad wipe, pick up.
Mac has been playing
take, slack, enable, or Zoomaa enable. Like it's.
I mean, the way I see it, though, Mac has been playing really good in this last qualifier, and he's obviously played really good now, and I don't think he's going to slow down where he's just going to get, like, far worse. The only person that essentially you're looking at in that aspect, if you're talking about it, is Lamar, and
I wouldn't drop Lamar. I think you're faded if you drop Lamar.
I wouldn't either, but at the same time, even if Lamar might not be the most talented person in terms of putting up statistics, he's their leader, right? And then you look at that role and you look at what he brings. Who else are they going to get?
Listen,
we can argue
it all year until there's results that actually, stand up to your argument of they don't need a roster change. Then how can we not argue that they shouldn't look at it? They have not placed well yet in anything outside of the kickoff.
So now let me ask you, what would you do?
I don't know. I don't get paid to give free solicited information. If Seattle would like my
Pat, here's the way I look at it.
They have my phone number. They can reach out.
Pat, here's the way I look at it. Not every team can be the best of the best. Not every team is going to be at the top of the league.
I agree with you,
right?
But so when you want to try.
But I'm saying I don't think when you look at the Seattle roster, I don't think they need a change. I think when you look at their roster and you see the potential they have and how they've consistently taken down top teams this year. Like they have taken down top teams multiple times. And
smoked by Paris on land.
Pat, a loss doesn't mean blow it up. Sometimes you got to go back and check it out. See what's going on.
You guys like these guys, but at the end of the year, if they don't have one top 4 placement, if they never broke into the top 4, they never won, they never did anything that really accomplished anything, then how can you not argue that at some point they should have tried to push further? Because otherwise, my opinion is we're going to see Optic FaZe finals all year long.
There's teams that are complete shit and need changes, and then there's teams that have potential to be good, and they're just not there yet.
Being good and winning is a different story.
I understand that, but
everyone could win. There's one team.
So why do you not want to try to win? Like that's my point. Why would you want to just be in the league?
Because Pat, they have a good formula here. They have a good formula to get to the top. No one is
necessarily trying to actively be middle of the pack, but like I said, some teams are basically investing in the future. They think these guys might think.
This isn't the NBA. People aren't tanking to get draft picks for the future. Like, bro, the lifespan of a COD player is fast. Like these leagues go by year by year. Max, Sib, and Pred could be garbage in MW2. We don't know. Like that's happened before where players are all-stars one year and not as good the next year. Like that's possible. Like we don't know that.
What the fuck are we talking about next year?
Because Chris is talking about investing in the long term in a team. COD goes by too fast to think that way.
Forget about all that shit.
You invest for the year.
Forget about all that shit.
Investing in
when you look at Seattle's roster from top to bottom,
down the road,
it's nothing but talent. From top to bottom, they're a good team. They're a really good team. The eye test. I'm always talking about the eye test. When you watch Mac, when you watch Pred, when you watch him, these guys are some of the best players I've ever seen. These guys are good. These guys are real. They can keep up with FaZe. They can keep up with Optic. Talent, they can keep up. Now for them, Focus on your teamwork. Focus on your fundamentals. If you lose, you go back to the drawing board. You figure out what's going on, and you come back. Lamar talked about it in the interview. You get everybody on the same page, and you could definitely see this team at the top. I can see this team.
We're talking about COD like
I can see. I can see these guys in the grand final. I can see these guys in the grand final.
25.
I can see these guys in the grand final. They just took down the champs from last event. They've taken down FaZe multiple times this year. We've seen so many good play from these guys. I can't wait to see what these guys do next.
I just want to say real quick, last thing. I think I would rather have a team, in my opinion, if I'm a GM or coach, that can beat the top dogs and like take them down, which we've seen them compete versus Optic and FaZe multiple times, or if not beat them, then and lose to like a lower team, then beat the lower teams and never stand a chance.
Well, you're gonna pick up Havoc. You don't want to come.
No, I'm not gonna pick up Havoc. Listen. At the end of the day, we're going to hop on the flank, and not tomorrow, but Saturday night, and be like, damn, FaZe just whacked Seattle 3-0. Oh, my God. Shit, Pred, 0.7. Shit. And then y'all going to be quiet.
All right, we'll see,
One
Pat.
series, y'all change your minds. You flip-flop up and down.
We'll see.
This team needs to blow it up.
I've never flip-flopped on that.
Mac, I've never flip-flopped. I never flip-flopped on Seattle, even when they were losing.
There's no one else they can get, bruh. Not a single one. They have the best challenger players from every region.
Mac 35 and 26 to end the first map. Modon, he's fucking insane.
He was really good this series for sure.
Yeah, he was really fucking good. Really good. Let's get into the next one.
By the way, this series?
Pat.
Italy.
Yeah, Italy struggled. I don't know what was going on with him today.
And we talked about it. Italy had an absolutely amazing tournament at Major 1. Probably the best tournament of his career, if not the MVP of the grand finals with how good he was playing. So, him not being able to repeat that, I'm not saying that's going to be their X factor and success or failure, but it is something to look out for. Like it's hard for him to kind of play at the level he was playing at Major 1. And if he doesn't, where is this team kind of really at on land versus some of these other teams? So
yeah, well,
something to think about.
Let's get into the second map. Then we get into a Tuscan S&D. Optic were able to win the first defense, right? They take care of Bejic. They go over on the offensive side. They get the B bomb down. Lamar, he can't keep getting away with this shit. He ninja defuses again. He gets on a bomb site. Optic don't plan for the backside. Lamar takes initiative. He sees where the bomb is planted. He knows where Optic's positioned, and he ends up hopping on that bomb site. Ends up tying it at one right off the rip. But guys, how's he keep doing this shit? How's this keep happening?
It's not even a meme anymore.
Guy's the Iceman. This guy's the Iceman.
It's not even a meme anymore.
That's the same situation where the other team literally blundered and planted it for one side that they didn't plan to take. So I think Lamar just made a heads-up play, realizing Optic fucked up. I forgot who the other team was on Tuscan that did the exact same play. Thieves, yeah, like planted on the backside, but then took their spawn, which is the worst play you can make. So Ray was probably in the back, just like rolling his eyes, mind blown, because that was just an absolute blunder. The Optic, all those guys know better than to do.
Really, yeah, I definitely think that was a little bit of an Optic troll there. I think they probably should have had that round, but I think you definitely got to give it to Lamar for clutching up. And then even after that round, we get into the next one. Lamar's left in a 1v1. He picks up the trade, helps his teammate, and then he guns Shotzzy out the window. He wins the 1v1. They go up 2-1. So Lamar, the Iceman, is clutching up rounds for these guys.
I swear we've been said this, and if you never go in that window, like
I've never seen him
be challenging that gunfight ever. That window, like
that truck wins it every time.
That truck wins it every time, bro. I'm running away if I ever see a guy near that truck. No shot on peeking that gunfight.
Yeah, we could take a look at some of the other rounds here. This round, Optic was able to get a rush plant onto that A site. They're able to find Pred. So at this point, I feel like Optic, they're in full control here. They have a really good setup. They're able to take down Mac. Sib's left with a snipe. He goes down 2-2. Really like the plays from Scump in this round. Want to highlight what he was able to do here. Right off the rip, you can see how aggressive he gets on defense. Maybe those new spawns coming into play a little bit. He's going to get that mid-map control. He's going to have Dashy looking over him. And then once Scump gets pushed up into these positions, he's going to start breaking them down one by one. He's going to start by hitting this mid-alley. He's going to find a gap, get a kill. Instead of over-challenge, he's going to back up, play his life a little bit. Again, Brucey's looking over him. He's top church. Looks like Brucey is changing up his positions a lot, maybe trying to get some angles top fire, maybe well. Scump finds another one mid-map. Pred tries to make a play through well. Good play out of him. Gets a little overzealous here. Tries to go for the highlight reel, but he ends up getting taken out. So good heads-up play there at a Scump. And then we get into the 3-4 round. I want to go into this round because this is where a little bit of a 3v4 comes into play. Again, teams trolling rounds with numbers, which, you know, can't really be happening. But let's take a look at the round and see what happened. But, guys, before we close this map out, anything else that you guys caught or want to talk about?
Not really. Seattle just clutched up, to be honest. Like, they were playing the map really well.
And I looking at these vetoes kind of just made me think. It made me think, like, I think Seattle, obviously, they knew how good Optic was at all of these Tuscan maps. Like, Tuscan overall in every mode was Optic's best. And I think they're looking at that, like, and they knew, obviously, they knew they're playing Optic, and they really prepared for it. And I think that's something that kind of bit Optic in the ass, is they didn't really think for that, because Optic, obviously, if you look at the stats,
good plays here from Shotzi.
By far and away the best Tuscan team on every mode. And so Seattle's just like, all right, let's play for them to pick all these and let them in. And they prepared for them as much as they could, because this S&D was a masterclass. I think
you can see the 2v3 coming in from Optic there. Shotzi and Dashy. It was Shotzi who was able to climb up top church. He was able to slide on in, take down one. Dashy finds another one. 2v1 situation. They get that bomb down. They play their lives, and Shotzi and Dashy were able to tie it up at 4. And then you see Seattle. The next round, when it's tied up at 4, they do a straight up B hit. They just go right down the pipe. And you could just kind of see how it happens. Where did Italy get picked? Did he get picked mid-map? Yeah, he got picked mid-map. Italy goes down mid-map. And then you could just see the Seattle team. They hit that B site so fast. Before you even blink, they're already there. It's a 4v2 within fucking 15 seconds. And they were able to close this round out quickly. So just Seattle really pulling out the strats. They're adapting. I think they were kind of reading Optic setups right there.
Yeah, that was a no hezzy just hit right through.
Just good decision making. I don't know who's making the calls. Probably Lamar or maybe some of the young guns making some calls. And then after that, Pred pulls a scump on a defense. He hits up mid-map. He's going to find a good blood. And then you see Lamar. He's going to get picked out here on this truck. Unlucky plays there. But it comes down to Mac in a 1v1 situation where he's able to win it. Really good plays for Mac here. So you can take a look at what Mac's doing here. He throws a shoulder here, and he sees Shotzi. And he goes, you know what? This guy's on one of the fucking best headies in the fucking game. It's really difficult to challenge this if you're in Mac's situation. So what does he do? He backs up. He starts cooking that grenade. He's going to throw that grenade up. He's going to chow off the grenade, and just like that, he's able to take Shotzi down. So really good tack usage coming out of Mac.
And I think, I mean, we were obviously focused on Mac there, but Pred also gunned Seth. Like,
where did he come from? I didn't even see it.
Back it right up, right before the Mac play. It was like right before.
Yeah, right here, Platt.
Yeah, so Seth's here holding this angle. They jump back to Pred. Watch it. Pred just comes around the corner and guns Pred.
I see a lot of people losing those ones, though, on the stairs right here. I feel like people always get cameraed here when they're holding this. Every time somebody's Platt holding this L wall, they get shit on. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the angle or what, but Pred makes a really good play.
You want to hold it tight to the wall. That way the guy has to basically like overextend and overcommit to the staircase instead of playing the off angle.
Good play, but what did I say about Pred, Chris? Remember I said he's always jumping, this guy.
Yeah.
He's like a fucking monkey.
He's got the scuff jump on deck.
Yeah, he'd be jumping around. And then you can see Mac, he's left in a 1v1. He's going to go all the way around. Illy plants that A bomb site. Illy has no choice but to go and check the bomb. Make sure Mac's not on it. Mac's able to pick him out. And just like that, Seattle go up 2-0. This is where people are like, what the fuck? And I think a lot of people were really surprised here. But Seattle, they were playing really good COD. And I was really liking their decision-making, especially in that second map. But let's get into the Tuscan control. I'll let Chris or Pat, one of you guys, take it from here. What'd you guys think about this one?
Pred was just doing whatever he wanted. It looked like he was playing at like 1,000,000 miles an hour and just gunning anyone he saw. That was kind of wild to see.
Yeah, it was really good plays at
first Optic, especially.
And again, this was just straight defensive wins for both teams until the very last round, right? Because the very last round was the only offensive win.
Yeah.
Seattle do a really good job holding off Optic here. Optic was trying to flood through front. Seattle was set up, ready to go. You can see Dante. He's going to get aggressive. He's going to take down Dashy here. But just a good hold from them. They were able to stop Optic from getting any ticks here, which is a really good play. But let's go into the overtime so we can kind of see how Seattle was able to break down that setup that Optic had and how they were able to win this offense, because it's not easy to do. It's definitely not easy. I thought we were going to be going into an overtime, but
super
Seattle was
surprised
able
this
to
map.
close it out.
I honestly thought we were going to get a Dashy show because he started off pretty hot, and then he ended up slowing down because this is like notoriously one of Dashy's do not play me on this map like map. He just goes off on it every time.
Well, he's so good at just lurking and locking down B, but I feel like Seattle really played well to avoid him. They dominated like getting church. Like they didn't, even when like Pred was flanking and stuff, like they were hopping up mid to top church a lot and kind of working through those routes instead of just flooding through that back B plat, which is where Dashy is always gonna sit. And I think they just had a game plan, right? Like they knew how Optic liked to play this map, and they played it well to the point where they almost kind of avoided him, like didn't let him stay in any of those comfortable power spots.
Yep, and also to keep in mind, because somebody said in the chat, and I agree, Optic was able to hold Seattle to no takes on their defense. So really good plays. You got to think if Optic was able to bring this into a round number 5, they would have had the defense. But Seattle was able to somehow clutch this up, and it starts here. I mean, the lives.
That was a huge kill.
It was just the lives. Optic had no lives. Seattle just do such a good job just constantly putting pressure on the map, and it stems from Pred. And Dante was having himself a map as well. I mean, he's 32-21. This is what Sib does. He's playing the champions, and I think Sib is really starting to show what he's capable of doing. I think a lot of people were maybe writing him off before he got picked up, but one thing you could say, Sib was definitely probably the #1 name in challenges, right? Everybody was talking about Sib. I think some people were just questioning how
most talented, brother.
Yeah, I think people are just questioning some other things, right, like attitude and stuff like that. But I think he's really come into his own. I feel like his attitude's good. I feel like he's been dedicated. He's been grinding. I've heard nothing but good things from the Seattle camp when it comes from him. And right now he's 33-21, and they're draining lives here. And they were able to just take down Texas. You see Pred fucking flexing his shit. He's screaming at the top of his lungs. Honestly, just a really, really good series from Seattle. I was really surprised to see Optic fall.
Bro, that guy's reaction. You see him? He's looking at us. He's like, fuck. He stomps the ground.
Bro, I swear, by the time they got to Lamar's interview, bro, it was only staff that was left in the venue.
No way.
Those guys were up out of there.
They fled. They fled
bro.
quick.
Optic Andy.
I want to get your guys' thoughts real quick. I don't want to take away credit from Seattle. They played amazing, and they rightfully so deserve it. But I feel like we see upsets like this, like the Florida match and this, like only day 1, match 1, like for these teams. Like I swear, like later on in the tournament, I don't know, we've all competed and played. I feel like, bro, like before when you used to play open, like in pools and whatnot, like your first match of the day, whatever it is, like you see some crazy upset and like, I don't know. I feel like that was one of those series, in my opinion, other than also the vetoes on top of it.
Look at that fucking losers bracket, bro.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at the bracket here. I'm really just look at the losers bracket, like Chris said. Optic Rocker, Subliners Thieves, Royal Ravens Legion, and Gorillas versus Ultra.
I'm more excited for the losers than the winners.
Yeah, the losers is looking good right now.
Besides Paris, sorry, that looks like a fucking cold, like at the end of the year Cold War, like winners bracket. Like that's what that looks like to me.
Yeah, this is insane. I have a feeling that Optic and either, I don't know if it's gonna be Toronto or Gorillas, whoever wins that match. I think it's they're gonna go all the way up to the loser final. I think they're gonna steamroll through it.
I picked Toronto as my dark horse for this event to get top 4. So, and you got to think Gorillas is playing with a sub. I think it's really possible for them to make that run. They're still good at 2-3-5, as we know. They have the hard point struggles that didn't stop them at Major 1, though. They were able to go 2-3-5 for, I think, 5 series. So,
yeah,
you never know.
Let's get into some of our predictions for tomorrow. I'm really excited to see this Seattle FaZe match. I think FaZe look pretty good, man. They look like they're hitting their form. I'm sure FaZe after the first major, right? They got top 2. I think they're gonna go back to the drawing board, try and fix some of their mistakes, and I think FaZe has been looking pretty good, especially after clutching up today and seeing some of the individual play from Simp and Abizi, Alex, L, all of them. I have a feeling FaZe is gonna be able to take care of business. But let's get into some of the matches tomorrow. What is this, all loser bracket? This is all loser tomorrow.
Correct.
Yeah.
All loser. Oh wow, so these are all elimination games. Maron.
Day off.
It's Saturday, right, chat? Saturday. Sorry, I didn't know exactly what kind of matches they were playing tomorrow. I didn't know if they were doing winners or losers, but I apologize.
It's gonna be late flank tomorrow.
A late one. We don't start the last match till 9 Eastern.
Look at this.
Well, he's gonna hit him with the late flank.
Tom, you might have to TM that way, yo. A late flank.
A late
It's gonna
flank?
be an actual Zoomaa flank,
It's a late night flank. A little late. It's like the Jimmy Fallon show or some shit.
Nah, it's the late flank. You know, you be hitting late flanks all the
You be
time.
hitting late flanks on the route, huh?
Yeah, you gotta pay.
It's
the
the
pinch.
unreadables.
It's the fucking pinch, bro.
I actually just realized that like the name of your like show is actually perfect for you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I came up with it because of all the flank shit. You know what I'm saying? But listen, let's get into some of the predictions, man. All elimination matches tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna go through the losers bracket, and a lot of teams are gonna be going home. So we got London Royal Ravens versus Paris. We're gonna kick things off with them at 3 o'clock Eastern. I personally think London's gonna bounce back tomorrow. I think after today they're gonna want to make a statement, come out, take care of business versus Paris. I got 3-1. What do you guys think?
I mean, did you guys see Trey Zero? He tweeted he's the unluckiest COD player ever. He like just tweeted that not long ago.
That?
Yeah, he said,
I saw that.
I am the unluckiest player in esports history, and it's not fucking close. So
whoa.
You don't know what's going on in that camp. You don't know what we're gonna see out of them. No idea. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see a Legion upset. I think London's obviously the better team here, but if things aren't right in the mental, you just never know. So I'm gonna go with a Legion upset.
All right, Legion upset. Chris, who do you got? Josiah, let's try and roll through these quick. We got a lot of matches.
I still think London's got in them. I mean, they were a top 4 team coming in, so I mean, I don't think they're gonna lose.
Okay, Josiah.
There's something in that venue. I don't know what it is, but match 1 and 4 are gonna be upsets tomorrow too. So I got Legion winning this one.
Let's go, Jer.
All right, now, hey, listen, I don't think it's a bad shot to go with Paris tomorrow. I went with London, but anything could fucking happen. We saw that today.
Temp's getting 1 series. We saw it last major.
Yeah, that guy's a different breed right now.
He's a beast.
That guy's an animal. But let's get into the next one. Los Angeles Guerrillas going up against Toronto Ultra. I personally think because LAG's playing with a sub, Toronto's gonna take care of business tomorrow. But even saying that, Toronto can't win a fucking hard point, so I don't know.
Yet.
Yeah, we'll see how they look tomorrow. We'll see how they look. But I'll go 3-2 Toronto tomorrow. We'll go 3-2.
I like
What do you guys
it.
think? What do you guys think?
I got Ultra 3-0.
Okay, Chris.
I got Ultra winning it. Don't know the map count.
All right, Josiah.
I got Ultra winning in 5 with you, Tom. I think LAG will fall short though. 2-3-5, baby.
All right, 2-3-5. We got the New York Subliners going up against the Los Angeles Thieves. I personally think New York's gonna win this tomorrow. I think New York's gonna come
New York
out.
should win this.
You think so? You think they should win it?
With how bad the Thieves have been playing and how good New York has been playing, I think New York should win this. But I'm thinking Thieves, baby.
Okay, you're thinking Thieves. I'm thinking New York. Chris, Josiah, who do you guys got?
Gotta say New York, just because I predicted New York to come out and somehow get top 4, but as the losers bracket, continues to get stacked against them, it's looking pretty grim. But hey, man, I got faith in my boys over on New York, so gotta say New York's winning the series.
All right, Josiah, you got.
I thought honestly New York wasn't like the real deal. I didn't think they had been put to the test, and I still think I got faith in them. But I don't know, man. I think Thieves are gonna come out on land, do their thing, and hopefully turn it around. So I'm thinking Thieves.
Okay, and then we get into the last match. Well, not the last match, but we don't know who's gonna
last
be
guaranteed.
Last guaranteed match. We got Minnesota Rocker going up against Optic Texas. I personally think Optic's gonna make a losers run and bring it back. So I'm gonna go Optic 3-1. I can see Minnesota taking a map, but I think Optic's gonna take a Beige. What do you guys think? Pat, you first.
So, if you guys remember the Rocker Ultra Major from last year, where Rocker was able to pull off that incredible comeback, I think we're gonna see something like that again. I got a feeling Optic's gonna come out, go up 2-0, and then that Rocker juice is just gonna start flowing, and it's gonna be a Rocker reverse sweep at their home series. Optic getting 12th, going from 1st to 12th. They out of there. They're going home. Flights booked early.
Damn, bro.
Private. Right. They're flying private though.
You think
They're
so?
flying private, but they'll be out of there tomorrow night.
You think so, Pat? All right, Pat. I respect the opinion. All right, Chris. What do you think?
I think Optic's just gonna, smoke them. I mean, Minnesota just hasn't looked good. Unfortunately, love the guys on there, but we've been talking about they've been needing a change. Role swaps not really working out too well. They've just been loaded with inconsistencies. They just, Optic's just going to come and take care of business, and I think Minnesota's going to have a long weekend to look at their options moving forward.
Yeah, I like that, Chris. Josiah, who do you got? Rocker, Optic? Which one?
Like I said, Tom, there's something in that venue. I don't know what it is. We saw an upset today. I don't usually like to agree with Pat, but on this one, I think I have to. I think if I'm Optic, this is the last team you want to go up against is Minnesota. I feel like Dylan Dylan Price is some when he plays these old Optic teams, like got that clutch factor. I think they're gonna win it in 5.
It's cold in Minnesota, Jerry. It's cold up there.
Maybe they're pumping Papaya through the vents.
And I just think Vanguard is so random. I think Optic's a really, really good team, but like, oh no, these are coin flip series.
Vanguard, baby.
Yeah, we'll see what
happens.
happens.
This is one team I wouldn't want to play in a losers.
I agree. That's how I feel.
Event. Yeah, this
like Optic could come out steamroll map 1, and then you get a major maniac like Rocker just wins the search, and I don't know. I feel like it goes to the stretch. Like I don't know. I think this is the worst team you want to play.
Listen, regardless of who we all chose or who I chose for the predictions, realistically, I got no fucking clue what's gonna happen tomorrow. I have no idea. No fucking idea.
As well flip coins.
No, I'm serious.
I said Optic is gonna steamroll search, and they 3-0. They get 3-0'd out the woodwork. I don't know what's going on.
Vanguard is just taking our credibility away, because I swear to God, we'll predict one thing, and it's just like, nah, fucking these guys just feel like shitting the bed today. Like I don't even know anymore.
I don't know, but tomorrow we got 5 matches. It's gonna be a long day. We're gonna be doing a watch party all day. Flank's probably gonna go live pretty late. We'll do our best late at night to kind of skim through the matches and kind of give you guys a nice little recap. We'll try and run through it, but I hope you guys did enjoy today's show. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Go to anchor.fm/theflank to check out all the audio sites that we're on, and go to @theflank on Twitter. Gary's doing a phenomenal job running socials, so go follow @theflank on Twitter. Make sure to hit that sub button. Pat, what else do I gotta hit?
They gotta hit that fucking subscribe eggs button, baby. By the way, Tom, are you sure that Gersh wasn't subbed in for Ender today? Cause God,
oh my God,
are you kidding me, Pat?
That's not foul. That is foul.
On that note, we're out of here, chat. All right, take care, brush your hair, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night.